It's been a while since I did Sonic Adventure. A whole lot of time has passed and things have changed. I've mellowed out on a lot of games that I used to hate, although for Shadow it got worse. I just can't find any enjoyment in that game. But in that time I've also had a lot of time to play this game and the first two updates, and I'm ready to give a real, proper review, getting all my thoughts out there. However, because this game is structured differently to every Sonic game before, I'm going to be changing how I deal with things too. I'm going to be going island by island and give my overall thoughts at the end of the game. In each island I'll talk about the story, how the island feels, and anything I'm feeling in that particular day. Also, I'm going into this with a fresh save file, not on New Game Plus, and in extreme mode. For the PS5 version, the one I'll be playing all the new updates on. For the Switch version, yeah, no, I'm using New Game Plus because I want to get through that as fast as possible, because that's also the one where I wanted to do the original ending. We can get into that later. Let's begin. Our story begins in the middle of the night. Eggman is amongst some ruins of an ancient civilization. He places a small device on a massive chair-looking thing, and robots spawn in. However, Eggman is drawn into the giant chair. The camera cutting to the next morning where Sonic, Tails, and Amy are flying over the Starfall Islands. However, a giant portal opens up, and Sonic finds himself somewhere he's been seen before. Green goddamn motherfucking hill. After escaping, Sonic hears a voice calling out to him. A voice calling him the key, and she gives him a task. Find the Chaos Emeralds, destroy the Titans, tear down the walls between dimensions. With this, Sonic is off to explore the compact island of Kronos. As a starting island, Kronos is pretty good at its job. You'll get to learn the controls of Sonic, except from the Lightspeed dash loops, and you'll get to play through some of the small platforming segments. At the end of each of these platforming segments, you gather a memory token. These tokens are used as a progression gate, to stop you from skipping to the final boss within 20 minutes. Now that it's hard to skip right to the boss of Kronos, take a look at my Switch footage here. Yeah, it's really not that hard. So, who do you give these tokens to? Amy Rose. Amy is trapped in a cyber cage, sealed away for Sonic to free. However, as Sonic frees Amy, he takes on the cyber energy, getting an upgrade but slowly becoming more corrupted as time goes on. With Amy freed, the pair begin the hunt for the Chaos Emeralds. To unlock the Chaos Emerald, you need keys. How do you get keys? Well, first you have to fight a mini-boss, known as a Guardian. These mini-bosses go from thick mommy ninjas to a giant cylinders of Squid Games. Not all of them are as great as here on Kronos, but for what they are, these are great mini-bosses, when you have more of your skill tree fleshed out. Yeah, so there's a skill tree here and they do lock many of the main abilities behind it. Now, thankfully they don't lock things like the power boost, a boost when you get 400 rings and makes you go fast, but you get it, or the goddamn stomp behind it. But they do lock a lot of the good flashy moves behind it, so you're stuck kind of just punching and kicking for a while until you beat most of the small enemies. At least it gives a reason for them to be here, but if you just side loop the ground over and over again, you just get a ton of skill points, springs, etc. So this isn't the best balancing system, but once you get more skill pieces and then you get more abilities, the fights do start to get a lot better, also because they get a lot flashier. But why are you out here defeating these things? Well, it's to gather a gear. What do you need the gears for? The reused asset portal. Sorry, I mean cyberspace portal. It's basically the same thing. So, cyberspace is a replacement for the traditional linear Sonic gameplay, which should be obvious with how they stole assets and level designs from the last few games. On this first island, I only played 1, 2, and 7. Level 1 being fine, but a weird way to start a free-roam Sonic game. Level 1, 2 being possibly the best in the game with a strict time limit. It basically draws the speedrunning community around this game. Heck, in Extreme Mode they made every S-rank time for cyberspace 10 seconds lower, except this level, and I love it. Level 1-7 is great for showing off how broken this game is. Introducing the homing dash. While a glitch caused by interrupting the homing tech animation with an air boost that sends you flying, Sega have fully embraced the glitch, and they've even given you a cheeky little asterisk if you do it after Update 1. Now that is good player feedback. There are 4 keys you can get from every cyberspace portal. Beating it, beating the S rank time, getting some amount of rings, and collecting the 5 red star rings through the stage. Get all 4 and you get 3 bonus keys, which is how I was able to only play 3 islands on this level and get away with it. Heck, while I was playing on my Switch version, the one that I had pre-ordered, I actually got the bonus chest, so I only ended up needing to play 2 of them. I still play 1-7 for fun, but still. However, to unlock the last 2 emeralds, you have to progress the main story. After unlocking the first 2 emeralds, you come across the first Titan, Gigantor. Sonic spots a young glitchy girl who summons the Titan. Sonic attempts to take on Gigantor how you would any other bot, but he's grabbed and thrown through a tower or 2, and he manages to pick himself back up, exclaiming he needs the arms to take down the Titan and some luck. So what's Sonic feel like just giving up that day? With that, we go around helping Amy gather up some Coco, and either reunite them with their mother, or helping her Coco find her loved ones. Now, the Coco usually relate to one of the core traits of the character the scene alongside. Amy's here is about love. And maybe this is my arrow sass, but it doesn't work. It doesn't help that Kronos is the smallest island and therefore can feel the most claustrophobic. While it still feels great to run around, knowing how the other islands really open up, this one does feel like they're really restricting the lot. I mean, look at the top of this waterfall, right? There is clearly more going on behind it. Let's perform a little glitch to see what's going on. Yeah, this is a suspiciously easy glitch to pull off. And once on the other side of this giant invisible wall, you can see there's an entire second half to Kronos you just can't get to. Heck, it even probably has the best case use scenario for the drop dash. Take a look. And I think I've also found where the opening cutscene takes place. I'll probably do a side-by-side comparison. But look, I think I found it. Why is there a second half of Kronos not here? We can get into it later. They also do try to make her more of the Team Mystic by playing into a tarot card in there. And I think that's a good direction for her, but it needs to be fleshed out more before it really sticks. Because as it is right now, it feels like they're really cramming this on her when they have no reason to. It feels like they're trying to come up with a new personality that wasn't, oh my god, I want to date Sonic. But they didn't really have much to work with, so they decided to hone in on the tarot cards. And again, I do think that works for her. I do think her being the Team Mystic would be fun, but it needs to be fleshed out more than this. It didn't really go well. What else? I do think the Ancients are set up well here. I just wish they had a different name. Let's see. Climbing up the giant pyramid was a blast. Alright, I should talk about how Sonic controls. Sonic controls great as long as you're on the ground. You can turn with no issues at all, and with Update 2's momentum sliders, you can make it so Sonic slows down as quickly or slowly as you want. Which is really good, as sometimes you want to stop on a dime, and others you want to have that feel of momentum. However, Sonic's air controls are not great. It's pretty clear to me that these are the Force's air controls, but with the momentum really stripped back, probably for the platform sequences. But with the sliders, you can make it so Sonic keeps all the momentum when jumping, and you can even hold your boost with the jump. Now, if we just get rid of that issue of not being able to turn well in mid-air, that's it. The game controls better than Sonic Adventure. And then there's the popping. It's not that bad, it could be so much worse, trust me. But it can mess up some of the platforming sequences. You see, these platforming sequences usually contrive of rails and random bricks. I won't call them bricks, but you know what I mean. However, these then cause the issue of, we're here to explore the different islands of the Starport Islands, but most of the platforming is kept to rails and platforms. Platforms that can suddenly just pop in out of nowhere. It is disorientating, but I think it still looks great, as long as you avoid the popping. Even on Switch, I kinda think most of this popping was caused from them using Insta LOD, and while I don't have much experience with it, it does seem to be a graphics thing you need to actually tinker with to get working, but they didn't really tinker with it much beyond this setting will work for Switch, so it'll work for all of them. Alright, I've put it off long enough. Let's go show Gigantor why we're undefeatable. After chasing my way through this absolute atrocity of a puzzle, Like, what is this? We fly up and get turned into a wide boy before we go and face down Gigantor. First, we have to climb up to his head, and then we... So, Supersonic can never go back to being a power-up that just makes you run faster and jump higher. Listening superstars? It's alright, that's not fair, but I fucking love these fights. You're a tiny hedgehog that's managing to rip and tear through this gigantic titan of a machine, and it's great. And on extreme mode, you can't afford getting hit as you instantly die. This adds a little bit of an element that wouldn't normally be there in the boss fights, even if you can cheese them with the parry. An indefinite parry was not a great solution. From what it seems like, it wasn't the original intention, but after player feedback they decided to make it infinite and it could cause some goofy ass shit. We can get into that later though. Now, you know what? Fuck it. Just listen to this damn song! And now at the end of the fight, Sonic rams right through Gigantor and blows it up to high heavens.
It's time to face your fate. Welcome to the mind of a different kind. We've been growing so late. Think I'm on 11, but I'm on a 9. Guess you don't really know me. Running from the past, so losing game. It never brings you glory. Been down this road before. Already know the story.
However, the fight isn't over, as there are still 2 more Titans to destroy. But before we head off, I'll play some of my favourite songs from Kronos. This segment may be long, so I'll make sure to chat to it for your comfort.
No, that's cool. I didn't want this to be easy anyway.
This island is a giant desert with tons of canyons to explore, and I think it's the only island post-Kronos that doesn't reuse any of the Guardians from Kronos. Though the Guardians on this island are very hit and miss, and I think I skipped some of them. Like, Shark is fine but a giant QTE, Strider is a fun mess but don't play this on extreme mode, you will want to eat your entire pant. And I barely ever touch Tank. But Sumo, oh boy, Sumo is the shit. Now, like I said, this island has tons of canyons and tall pillars to explore, and run around, and just have fun in. So many areas hide goodies, and it's my favourite island just overall, besides the story, we'll deal with that later on. Like, I think the 2 times you have to go on long platforming sequence on Reah Island, some of the best platforming in the game. Another part of the game I think is that it's near best on Reah is the cyberspace stages. Like, there's like one stinker out of the bunch, but I really love the ones we have here. I just wish it controlled better and didn't make me want to unalive myself. Also, something I should mention is that around the map there are really special challenges you have to complete to unlock more of the map. Now, these challenges are nothing special, but in this island they try and cut you off from unlocking them all by attempts to keep you locked within the canyons below until you complete a certain mission. However, something they've got to take into account is the fact that the rails keep all your momentum when jumping off of them, which was true even before update 1. So just go on one of them and you can leap out the canyons. This is the kind of fun stuff I like to see in this game, using the game's tools to play the island in fun ways. That's what makes Sonic so fun. He's so fast and versatile, you can break it in a lot of unintended ways. A lot of unintended ways that are so fun that even the developers try to keep them in. Now let's get on to that plot. Once having fully expanded the map, I go and talk to Knuckles. How the fuck did he get here? Go watch the free YouTube video! I said this in my Forces review and I'm not gonna let this shit slide. It's well animated and a love letter to Sonic Adventure and Sonic 3, but it's still external media. At least they give you a hint in game you can use if you didn't watch Divergence, that being Knuckles was exploring some rooms before getting trapped on the island. Now, Divergence is, like I said, a love letter to Adventure and Sonic 3, and I think it's probably the best 2D animation Sonic has ever had. Like, it's definitely better than the one where Sonic was lazy because they didn't have the budget to make him run. Anyway, when Knuckles freed and a single Chaos Emerald we obtained, we can now fight the Wyvern. Or rather, Sonic knows to run away this time as he can't take it on. Navigation is fucking weird first time around. There are these invisible walls in this segment, and it's probably fine. But they can mess you up sometimes, especially with a quick step being as weird as it is. It covers way too much ground and has a delay to it. At the end of it, Sage gives Sonic his final warning. And not too long after, Sonic comes across Sage again, where Sage let it slip that she was protecting someone. Knuckles blocks the laser, but Sonic stops anything else from happening, and then we have to drain the Oasis. You know, with a fucking nuke. God, did I say I love this game? And then we link up with Knuckles, so met a group of Coco warriors. This is why his memory tokens are medals, because of Sonic goddamn motherfucking forces. First thing we do is collect the Coco. However, the more we collect, the faster everything goes. Once you get to 4 times speed, it's time to pack it up. I've already mentioned the Emerald Collection and how it's great on this island, so let's talk about the second mission, Coco herding. Well, I didn't go into this mission much on Kronos, and honestly that's a good thing since most of them were cutting grass. The missions here on Ares are significantly better. However, Coco herding has got to be one of the worst ones from Kronos to decide to bring back. I'm not saying it's bad, but they reuse it twice, and probably the worst mission here would be climbing up the 4 towers and stomping on them. It's really not that important. But after that, we do talk with Knuckles.
Ages ago, my people were wiped out by a cataclysm. I know the Coco faced something similar. It reminds me I'm the last Echidna, that I'm alone.
You may be the last, but you're not alone. You've got us, Knucklehead.
I'll admit, I do envy your lifestyle. Freedom to go where you want, when you want.
So do it. Get out there and live a little.
Maybe I could. But first I need to be back to normal. So hurry up and get me back to normal.
Anything to get you away from me.
He helps those he is at odds with. He is quick to make peace. Perhaps... No. I have run the simulations. they are doomed.
I'm so glad these characters are back to being written well. I'm glad Ian Flynn is here. His writing does have some issues like an over-reliance on callbacks, but otherwise he does get these characters and he seems to have a solid direction for where to go. I don't mind the characters being taken in different directions to what I'm used to. I just want them to have a solid direction to keep going in. But with that being said, we get to play the easiest crane game ever. Why is this easier than Island 1? When we run through a tunnel coming across Wyvern, it's time to climb a tower. I hope you get used to it if you're playing on extreme mode, because every time I got hit here, it's back to the bottom of the damn tower, and then I have to climb back up, then get hit again, then climb back up, and get hit again. It's fine on any other difficulty, since you don't get thrown back to the bottom of the tower every time you get hit. But I'm sure all this will be worth it once you reach the end of this puke track and now we can play what I say is my least favourite of the 3 main Titan fights. And this is probably my least favourite. Don't get me wrong, the spectacle here is amazing. Taking on a gigantic dragon-like flying beast while flying over the desert you've been racing across the entire island. It's a great moment, but the battle is very on rails without much room for any creativity. Unlike Giganto, you could be attacked in a wide variety of ways. And unlike Giganto, we got a massive difficulty boost from being on extreme mode. I think Wyvern got easier. At least he stayed the same, there's no real threat here. As long as you hold either of the shoulder buttons, you're fine. Heck, the Grand Slam just shows Sonic grabbing him by the tail and Mario 64ing him into a mountain. I think it's a mountain anyway. But each time you do the Grand Slam, like Giganto where it could change based on the camera movement and all that, it's scripted out so you'll always fling him into the same canyon every time. It's my least favourite 3 main Titan fights, but it's still a good fight. But hey, you want to skip this one early? You can abuse the rail physics or the things for update 2. God, I love this game. The fight being over, it's time to land down, talk with Chuckles, get a good reference in there, and then head off to Chaos. But before we do, it's on time, and I'll chapter it like I did last time. Probably.
I get this feeling of deja vu? Why do I get this feeling of deja vu? My brain is stimulated.
This might be my least favorite island of the whole game. Well, it's the most interesting aesthetically. One big, major issue is its mostly 2D sections. Hey kids, come play the new Sonic game where you can go anywhere except from Chaos Island. If you move 3 inches, you're gonna get locked in a goddamn motherfucking 2D section. And most of the time, there isn't a way out. Have fun! In a game all about being able to go anywhere you want at any time, it's pretty bad design. And even then, the island still isn't that well designed when you take away the 2.5D sections. So, something I like to do when I play this game is go around the whole island and open up the entire map. But I can't do that on this island, it's broken up into one massive island and several smaller islands. Well, it wouldn't be that much of an issue since you can go to most of the smaller islands before starting the story. 2 of these islands are out of reach, while one of them is just genuinely out of reach and impossible to reach even with this update 2 stuff, which is fair I guess. One of them just has an invisible wall. Like, what? You're really telling me I have to get to this one section and do it before... What? That's not a fun way to incentivize exploration. All of parts of your area and telling the player to explore it anyway. So while I do think that is annoying, I do think the story of Chaos Island is the most important one to the game, and probably my favourite. Kronos had Amy, who was still not really much of a character, and Knuckles gained back his IQ, but Tails is a very different case. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, Tails' characterization was all over the damn place, from a scary little child to a snarky asshole to everything in between. I'm glad Sonic Frontiers managed to reel back in his character, while still keeping some of the snark from the meta era. I do think that works really well for Tails, having that perfect balance of he can believe in himself, but he can still be a bit of a snarky asshole. It's great, I do like that honestly. But at the start we get to see just how the game will treat Tails. In Kronos, Amy and Sonic treat Tails as the one who'll figure everything out and fix everything once we free him, and Tails goes immediately into overdrive mode, think about solutions, taking in all the information of his situation. It's a good start, but the rest of the island will make him re-find his flame. We split up to look for the emeralds, however after grabbing a few, Sonic comes across Sage, who summons the next Titan. The Titan throws out its massive saw blade-like shield at Sonic, as the Sonic escapes right into the water 2D. God. And I've heard it's actually coded differently in this section, so we feel it even worse here. But when it's over, Sonic manages to kill a squid and a shield, and we just move on and acts like we haven't seen a Titan yet. I'm not joking, neither Sonic nor Tails bring up the Titan until right near the end of the island. Moving on, we talk to Tails and get a segment of the past shown to us, and it's not just a single image. It's just a single image, but it looks cool. Can you tell the game was being rushed near the end of development? More emeralds later, and we meet up with Tails and get talking about a model from Forces. An assault model Death Egg robot. I think it's cool bringing back some Forces stuff. The bridges in Kronos were already brought back from Forces. At least this time, they're weaving it into the plot, and after playing a game of Ikaruga, we blast a massive hole in the ground, letting us access one of the 2 islands that we couldn't before. While I like the underground segment, it's still something that cuts into 2C sections more than it should. In my Switch playthrough, I cut past some of the 2D sections, I flew right over them. But in the main PS5 playthrough, I decided to go through the area, and boy is it not great. The issue here is that the island is actually really big inside, but we're still stuck in 2D for most of it. Like, how is the way going down in 2D? How do you do that? But I guess that explains most of Chaos Island, huh? On the other side, we pick up the next emerald to finish off one of the challenges here. We head back to the mainland to see that Tails has found his Coco, a sidekick wanting to help out his hero. They aren't even trying to be subtle anymore. While Tails thinks helping in a story that's already over isn't the best thing to do, Sonic explains what's going on really well.
I helped him out.
But isn't that cruel? Their battle is long over. This feels dishonest.
We're not fixing the problem they think they have, but we are bringing them peace.
Some more exposition, we meet back up with Tails, and it's time for a Ratchet & Clank minigame. What? I used to struggle with this minigame a lot, especially when Extreme Mode first came out, but now it's a piece of cake and not even worth talking about. Well, other than the fact I had a Chaos Emerald here, why would you even do that? And with the weapon complete, Sonic, Tails, and the Coco get does something I didn't expect my first time around.
They're worried something's happened. It's like how I couldn't handle it after Infinite attacked. One wrong turn and I fall apart.
And after some fun skipping bullshit platforming segments, we meet back up with Tails, and he sends us off before Sage catches up. They talk for a moment, and Tails manages to, unintentionally, break through more of Sage's walls with his more logical mind, and to get through with Imperial data, and it's cute. There's 2 like-minded children just talking. It's something you wouldn't expect from the pair, but they bounce off of each other surprisingly well for the 2 cutscenes they share. The next scene has the only joke that ever got a real laugh from me.
What is your end goal?
It varies. Sometimes it's a spinning sign, sometimes it's a big old ring.
No.
I agree with Sonic here. Sage is being too cryptic, and as we learn later on, she has no real reason to other than extending the plot. But at least Sonic shows he's done with Sage's shenanigans, and he talks about his confidence in dealing with whatever may come. Sage just flies off. More emeralds, and Sage and Eggman talk, Sage knowing Sonic and Eggman must team up, but Eggman refusing to. She then calls out whenever Sonic and Eggman team up, it usually goes really well. It feels good with the amount of references Chaos has, but it's starting to feel a little repetitive, and anything resembling a sequel, I do hope they pull back on the amount of references. Not to stop them, just pull back on them. More emeralds and more Eggman talking about his grandfather later, we come to the thrilling plot of the island. I'm just gonna let it play out.
Sonic, am I a burden to you?
Wow, and how did you come to this well-thought-out concern?
Whenever there's a crisis, I'm either running away or standing on the sidelines. You're always rescuing me when all I do is follow you around.
Hey, who was it who stopped Eggman from blowing up Station Square, huh? And who broke me out of prison, or saved me from the Deadly Six's trap?
Then I'm wildly inconsistent.
Dude, relax! You've got brains like Eggman, speed like me, and can fly with your butt. It's okay if you still need help sometimes. That's just part of growing up.
When did you get to be so insightful?
I have my moments.
They say the bridge is out.
I'm sure we can fix that. I'll have a look around.
So throughout my talking the 2010s era of games, I did bash on Tails a lot. But as far back as Heroes he had regressed, and I'm glad they're addressing it, and I hope we can get an at least stable version of the character again. But with all that handily done and now out of the way, it's time to finish opening up the whole Chaos Island with one more mission. Sonic runs up the ramp and goes into outer space, only to fall down while a strict time limit is on here. This is probably the only mission at launch that had me stumped for over a couple of minutes. It's a genuinely fun and tense segment, with extreme mode killing you in one hit. You can't just phase everything like you could in any other mode. It's great, but with it over, we get a Chaos Emerald, and we let the Coco know it's proud, and it finally fans its peace. Sonic showing Tails that he's proud of Tails too. And with the cutscene over, wait, we have to wait for a fucking nighttime post, are you kidding me? Why is this over here? Why is it that with the one island that has a fucking invisible wall, they hide not only a cyberspace portal behind it, a Guardian fight behind it, but also a goddamn nighttime challenge? Speaking of cyberspace, I guess it's time to talk about how the island has the majority of the ones I don't like. Unfortunately, the only one of them I recorded for this was the drifting stage. Now, it looks like as if the drifting is meant to be an intentional feature in the beta builds, but they took it out of it and only left it in for this one stage. And it sucks, as you can see. I just usually jump over them when applicable in Lightspeed Dash. There are other ones, but weirdly enough, I didn't want to replay the stages. I don't like my time with the stages here. We get the next emerald, and while I skip the last section, you really can't with this one. And better yet, it's actually good this time. I genuinely love this section, and it's a bright spot on this glowing island. With it collected, Tails comes to realization.
Hey, little bro. Feeling better?
Yeah, this whole experience gave me a kind of clarity. When this is all over, I think I need to go it alone for a while. I can't grow into my full potential if I always fall back on you. If that's okay.
You're free to go your own way. I guess you just grew up on me a little faster than I expected.
Are you saying I outpaced you?
Yeah, don't push it. It's gonna take some getting used to, but here's to you reaching new heights, partner.
It's moving and touching. This island may not be the best when it came to gameplay, but it was the best story-wise. While I could have done without Sage's clip here, I just want to plug in my ears. Plus Eggman and Sage have about 4 scenes together, and they're all in the same location of one stage. It shows a lot of cutscene limitations in one segment. While these are better than the ones from Forces, it's still clear they don't have the best budget for these things. Hey, it's Titan time. Before you guys play a Bimble Ball, get ready to die. 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 This sucks. Unlike the rest of the island, it feels like they were cut for time. The physics here are fucking awful, and it's so easy to die. And then you need 6,000 points. So die 3 times and restart, please. This took like over 10 minutes on both my Switch and PS5 runs, but then we get to watch it get flooded with lava. Oh, and night's been shown off to us too. Tails shows off how he's still a little intimidated by the night, but we make our way down, with nighttime sky being illuminated by the lava and the lights from the night. We make our way up, and... Holy shit, this is my favorite of the boss fights. I have no idea what to start. The music is the best of the Titan fights. Feel like a Sorry for Infinite's theme being wasted as the Dudu Sungin is back. The boss fight also feels like the only one where the Titan is consistently fighting back, throwing its shield so you can jump right onto it and throw it back in the Titan's face, while shooting missiles at you. And if you miss, he swings you right back into the air. Then we get to phase 2, it's basically impossible to attack him. Oh, damn hard to unless you parry the shield back into him to stun him. Get close and beat the shit out of him. The Grand Slam is about how Sonic attacks at super speed before upcutting into the air and heel spiking the night right back into the ground. he's side looping. He gets hit through the back multiple times before a bigger one stabs him. And at the end it comes to a tug of war sword before Sonic punches it out of the knight's hand, side loops it, and
To become everything you're not, you just give it all you got and take the pleasure with the pain. Yeah, I can feel my fire awaken. No time for being complacent. There's a dream on the horizon, you know we gotta chase it. And when we get to where we're going, then we start the invasion. That's me, now you must be mistaken. You know I'll turn you. Now here we go, it's the end of the show. Hear them, they're calling your name. 'Cause in the end, it's you and your friends. You'll find your flame.
holy shit, this is epic! And before we head off, here's some Chaos Island music.
the pleasure with the pain. Yeah, I can feel my fire awaken. No time for being complacent. There's a dream on the horizon, you know we gotta chase it. And when we get to where we're going, then we start the invasion. That's me? Nah, you must be mistaken. You know I'll turn you into rust, grind you right down to dust. You thought you were the best, well, you haven't met us. Fire and rain, call me the hurricane. I'm not letting you go, 'cause it's all that I will go.
The final lock has been revealed. Silence the six towers. Tear down the walls between dimensions.
Oh, good. I thought you were gonna say there was a surprise, Titan.
Sonic?
Hang tight, partner. We're almost through this.
Be careful.
Careful. Where's the fun in that?
So, now we've reached Act 3 of the game, and while I understand why many people won't like this island, over time it's become one of my favourites for the moment it represents, and the change to the formula, because on Chaos it was starting to get a little repetitive. However, there is a pretty big issue we gotta talk about here. We're back on Kronos. It's literally the second half of it, the half that got cut off earlier. In fact, using this little funny glitch I managed to pull off easily, you can still get here but without the tower being active. It's interesting to look around. You can see so much of what they wanted to do. You can find areas where you know puzzles were meant to be. But you can see it was cut for time, likely. The thing is though, the tower's why I love this island. And each one of them is honestly great, giving you that dread of falling down while after shutting down each one suddenly gets more and more worn down, more and more corrupted. God, I wish they kept the original intention of Sonic slowly losing his memory over time.
This is real, right? I'm still here, aren't I? This is for my friends. This is for my friends, remember? I'm so cold now. Numb. Push through it. Endure. Objective complete. My name is...
Now, as for what the island actually tells us, it's pretty interesting. Turns out the Chaos Emeralds are alien in nature, but while the original owners tried to use them to escape some cataclysmic event, they got dragged down to Earth because the Master Emerald is on Earth. It was always on Earth. Over time they began to colonize and adapt to the world the best they could. However, the cataclysm followed them to Earth, and the Titans are the only way they knew how to stop it. Unfortunately, it didn't fully work. So one of the 4 Titan pilots let himself get infected by the cataclysm, fusing it with the Titan, letting his friends lock him in cyberspace and allowing the agents to live out their full lives. All the while, the Titan was locked inside of cyberspace, and with the final tower shut down, Sonic gets stuck between dimensions, in an inverse way to how the other 3 friends were. While the friends weren't physical but mentally aware, Sonic is physical but not mentally aware. Everybody is let go from cyberspace. The friends becoming physical and Eggman manages to just break out, having not get stuck in the in-between zone. However, as Eggman begins to gloat, the cataclysm manages to break out, as Sonic did what he was told. He tore down the walls between dimensions. And now the game scene's lost. Sonic has corrupted the Chaos Emeralds are nowhere to be found. Sage is saying that even with the Egg Fleet, nothing can stop this thing. So, what's the solution? Sonic's friends holding hands to bring him back and the day is done. Sonic is back, Sage begs Eggman to work with Sonic, and we fade to black. What the fuck? I get the feeling the third act was just a little bit rushed. Yeah, so now we start Ouranos with the cutscene I just talked about. Now I talk about the cutscene on Reah, because the cutscene takes place on Reah. Fun, right? Now, even more disappointing is that the whole island is almost completely optional content. There are only 2 cutscenes you have to see, and one of them is just opening a bridge. You can't find Eggman anywhere, despite the fact we are working with him. It's all just grinding. Need to unlock the 6 Chaos Emerald vaults with cyberspace stages. And the ones on the island are great, for the most part, but it's still just grinding. Now, Big's Big Fishing Adventure 3 could save you, if you're not in extreme mode. But the prices are so jacked up that you can't use fishing to get your way out, unless you've got like 20 hours to kill, which I did not. Now, I could talk about the optional stuff, but all I do is exposit because this is the final island. Well, I'm glad we're getting told a lot of the things that were being built up. It feels like this wasn't the original intention. And looking into the files, you can hear some interesting clips that kind of say that Ouranos wasn't meant to be this. It was meant to be an island actually being just the mothership of the ancients. Take a listen, I'll put them in.
Rude. Join me. Sonic, I believe I can access the ship's ruins. Join me. It is what remains of the ancients' world ship. It was their ark to this world.
I could tell you what, like, the optional things are, but, like, I didn't really get most of them. I was too busy grinding out memory tokens cyberspace stages. It got boring fast without the fun challenges to break things up or a real story to follow. And for being the final island, there really isn't much to say. It's big, but Ares was bigger. It has fun enemies, but most of them are just ripped straight from Kronos. It has good cyberspace stages, but that's really all you need. The memory token grind gets fucking horrendous with how many you need for the last one. And since I can't use Big's Big Fishing Adventure 3, I can't really get them that easily. So it means spending 5 fucking hours grinding out memory tokens. I am not joking. You basically need a Starfall event to happen, otherwise you're just not getting everything here in one go. Hopefully the final Titan fight can pick things back up. First, we need to see it. Oh right! There's nothing to show it off on this island. It just shows up after Eggman throws the last Chaos Emerald at Sonic.
When I want to disappoint you.
Goddamn Gigantor reskin. While the boss fight is somewhat different to Gigantor, that's only because of these things blasting crystals at you. Attack them, get thrown back, parry some stuff, and then it's just the Gigantor fight. In phase 2 we see him sprout these massive laser wings to bring the fight into the air. And it goes fucking nowhere as the laser wings disappear. And then it's just Gigantor, but flying, and it just... And you actually can't finish the fight because you need to attack some of the crystal shooters to get so he'll knock you away and then have a quick QTE before you finish the fight. But in finishing the fight, the cataclysm known as the End manages to escape into space. Sage taking on Supreme since we didn't murder him brutally like the rest of them. And they both fly off in space. Sonic giving an amazing speech with some great music.
He took your home world. He took your lives. Are you going to let him do it all over again? I need your help. We can end this. Please.
And then we cut to Ikaruka. That's it, I'm done. Review's over. Man, 5 islands of 4 major boss fights and this is the ending?! It's a shoot 'em up. Now that the end is here, it's just a shoot 'em up! And the best part about it is the end here, talking down to Sonic. But since Sonic isn't the one fighting it right now, it comes off as him trying to be intimidating, or being a giant fucking rock. And if you're playing hard mode, you don't even get this! You know, just take a listen to that speech, or at least some of it.
All the teeming chaos of creation, brought to order, to neutrality, to nothing. I saw your mind as you ran through my prison. You have fought machines and gods. They were mighty. They were finite. I am infinite. I am nothing. You struggle as so many have done before. You will be consumed like all those before you. I saw your mind. Your courage never wavered. Why? Arrogance, ignorance, stupidity. I was contained once. Once. Is that why? My captors bent time and space. My captors built a whole reality to contain me. My captors burned their souls away to fuel their engines. And
You glitter. You fly about me like a gnat. I am inevitable. I cannot be denied. You strike this incarnation with all your might. It changes nothing. You are not brave. You are not victorious. No matter what form I take, the end comes for you all.
Great, I wish it was put for a better boss fight, because after a game with 4 Titan fights, this doesn't feel like the right way to end things. And then after finally finishing the thing after like 20 goddamn minutes, we head into a QTE, unless you're playing a normal mode or easy mode, then you just get thrown straight into it. Where Sage grabs Sonic, throws it into the end explodes, Sage dies with it, Sonic falls down to Earth, and Eggman watches his daughter die.
I hold my breath, step up a gear.
And I gotta say, the credits music here, it does go hard. Now, Dear Father here actually reminds me a lot of Dear My Friend, and the other 2 ending themes do give me that same kind of feeling as Endless Possibility. One Way Dream more so, because Vandalize was not a song made for a Sonic game, it just got retrofitted for one. And I guess while we're here, I'm gonna mention this, but this game does feel to me like this generation's versions of Sonic Unleashed. So while the Xbox 360 PS3 era had Sonic Unleashed to lead into Colors, Generations and Forces, it feels like this PS5 era is starting with Frontiers, and is then going to build on it, maybe cut some of the fat, find its footing, but it's all completely dependent on if they stick with this style, which it seems like they are. Now this could be my Unleashed bias, because if you remember from that video I said it was my favourite game of all time, and it still is, even all this time later. But I do love this game, but what the fuck happened here? Well, it seems the originally intended 4th island had to be cut and replaced with parts of Kronos, which then worked out into the team's favour, because the original beta Kronos was said to be too big by playtesters. And to some extent, I do get it. The fully complete Kronos is bigger than all the islands on Chaos, and for a first island it would have been way too overwhelming. And I guess it worked out for what they needed, but you can feel something was rushed together in Act 3. And Kishimoto, the director of the game, even said that Act 3 was very much rushed. Heck, the best way to tell Act 3 was rushed is that unlike the first 3 islands, Reah and Ouranos only have 1 song each, even though there's basically a perfect excuse for both of them to have several movements, with the towers on Reah and emeralds on Ouranos. And I guess I should let you actually listen to the music of this island. I'll also throw in Reah in here as well, because why not? overall, I really love my time with Frontiers. While it has flaws, mostly being that third act, it's a great game and something more experimental. And the great part about that is for a game to be more experimental, it means the team behind it had time to experiment. While they didn't stick the whole landing, it's still a top 5 game for me. And while the game review segment is over, the game got 3 major update content patches since release, and at the time of writing or recording, update 3 is only a few hours away. So let's talk about the updates and what they changed, what they added, and why the game has only got better over time, even if these should have just been in the game at launch. For update 1, the changes were small but nice. Up first, the jukebox. Where you only start with a few songs in the jukebox, you can pick up various music notes to add more music to it. This can allow people to just swap out the slower paced music that is meant for just be background music, but somehow manages to pull a Sonic the Hedgehog and be fucking legendary to faster paced music from Sonic's past. And with the locations where you get some of the music, you can tell there was a lot of thought put into what they picked and where they put it. They also added the ability to turn off the Starfall slot machine, which as you can see here, fucked me over in Chaos Island because of course it was fucking chaos, why only in chaos. They also added in 2 challenge modes. One of them, Battle Mode, is you fight up against all the enemies on an island and you're even able to refight the Titans. It's about the only way to refight the Titans outside of replaying the game, so I'm glad it's here, but it's busted by the level you're at in-game. If you're level 1, it's going to be tough. If you're at level 99, you're always going to get that S rank, especially since the end isn't a part of Ouranos Island for good fucking reasons. Roll for all S ranks, Extreme Mode. The difficulty where you die in one hit, Cyberspace S ranks are actually hard, and Big got hit with the capitalism ego, as the prices of everything in his Big's fishing adventure shop has risen for no good reason. The next thing is the Cyberspace challenges. It's tasked with beating every cyberspace level on an island, and it's a tough challenge if you don't have the homing dash. And what is your reward for beating all the cyberspace stages and get that perfect S rank? Something to make cyberspace easier the next time you play the game. You get the power boost in cyberspace, making 3D faster and showing why 2D is terrible in this game. They also added in a camera mode, which is neat. Take a look at some of the stuff I've done. Might even make one of them the actual thumbnails, who knows? Now, Update 2 had some of the best changes made to this game. First, you can make the jumping better by turning down the air acceleration. Set that shit to 0 and we'll have an almost perfect controlling Sonic. Just give him better air mobility and that's it. Sonic is being perfected and we never have to make another Sonic game again. They also turned down his ground momentum, and then he won't just stop on the spot when you let go of the stick. They added in more music, always nice, as well as new Coco. Now, before it came out, we had no reason to believe the new Coco would be the best at showing that Sonic Team have learned from their mistakes with the open zone challenges, but holy shit, these are so much better than the usual memory token missions. They're challenging, fun, and use many of the mechanics in intuitive ways. And better yet, your reward is more speed as you can upgrade the boost, assuming you're not in extreme mode. They also added in some birthday decorations, managing to change up the islands, some of the obstacles, and slapping in more Generations assets. As well as giving Sonic a fun costume, and the same goes for the Coco and the rest of his friends. In fact, I kept the birthday equipment on in my Switch playthrough because I think it looks good on them. Plus, him dying with them on is funny. Finally, the action chain challenges. These have a fun puzzle element to them. You need to find the right track, and when you do, spin dash in this game is fucking incredible, but it's also lots of post-game reward, which is fair. It breaks every piece of design in this game and it's fucking great. You can keep it in New Game Plus, but unless you're playing in Extreme Mode, you're going to be at level 70 plus, which makes much of the early game just not even worth it. Even on Extreme Mode, you keep most of the late game upgrades, meaning the early game enemies are still an absolute just decimation. You will murderize them so quick. But given it's an extreme overpowered nature, keeping the spin dash locked away for post game, right move. Now, as I'm typing this, update 3 is about half an hour away from being installed, so let's see what changes they made to Sonic Frontiers. Do you want to know where I am at my scripts right now? I am on page 10 of 15. Most of the islands took up about 4 pages. I have more to say on this island than I did for Kronos or Chaos, and this update came out less than a week ago, as of recording. I'm gonna say this now, I don't think this was the fix to the game's ending that Sega really needed. The game's better, definitely, I still prefer this over the original Ouranos, but not by much. But the point here is that I still enjoyed this a lot. It has some issues we can get into, but we should start with the story. Now, to access this area, you have to go to Ouranos and find this massive golden ring to try another story. This is probably game just saying this isn't canon, you can ignore this if you want. But something we'll talk about later doesn't make me put that into question. Once having hit through the portal, Sonic stopped by Eggman and Sage. With their plan being said, Sage would stabilize the Sonic cyber corruption, bring back Tails, Knuckles and Amy, and while they go and look for the Chaos Emeralds, Sonic and Sage will climb the 4 towers to stabilize the corruption, and then turn it into a new power. And from there, the 3 friends go out to look for the Chaos Emeralds. But they found they've been locked away as the ancient technology is trying to protect the Emeralds. Throughout the campaign, Amy will save the Coco, using their information to help the team and generally just being the heart and the mystic. Knuckles will go around destroying impact forms, meaning the team's muscle. Tails will hack in several Cyber Coco to free the 6 Chaos Emerald, so that Sonic can use them later. Meanwhile, Eggman has to try and hunt down an emerald on his own. And because that's in the overworld, so we know he's actually doing stuff this time, unlike back on the original. Each time they interact with the cyberspace item, which are also from Coco, they begin to get more and more corrupted. Amy taking it and trying to play it off. Knuckles just laughs before pulling himself back up, not letting it take him down.
Oh no you don't. Sonic handled 4 islands of this mess. I'm not going down to just 1. You hear that? This isn't over until I win!
Which does say they're still counting Reah as its own island, when it's not. And for Tails it's the Cyber Coco, in which he wants to fall, but he knows he has to be able to keep up with Sonic. At the same time, Sonic is ascending the 4 towers, coming into contact with the 4 Coco, who were the pilots of the 4 Titans. Sonic even making a joke about how there was a surprise 4th Titan, reminding you the Supreme fight hasn't happened yet, which is fun to remember. Each of the Titan pilots give you a challenge to finish, with each one getting... I wouldn't say harder, but it's all over the damn place. Once the 4 towers are dealt with, 1 last tower remains. Once having gotten to the top, Sage is flicked away and Sonic meets with Master King Coco, the Coco who managed to bring the Ancients to Earth, the one who is the king of all of them. And while he doesn't want to talk to Sage, he does give Sonic 1 last trial, and with it dealt with, Sonic's cyber corruption is turned into a new power, but if he goes all out, the power won't be able to stick to his body, he'd lose it forever. Now with the power gathered, Sonic meets back up with his corrupted friends, and Eggman, grabs the Chaos Emerald, and takes on the OG version of the Supreme, before the end plugs into him, managing to make him more feral, the Titan fighting back, slamming its head into the ground, crying out in pain as 5 more arms grow out with the jetpack on its back, even some liquid spilling out. Meanwhile, Sonic levels up to Super Sonic 1.5, and using this new power, he defeats the boss fight in about 1 minute, before slamming the Titan into the end, powering himself up all the way before shooting right into the moon, using the gun Supreme tosses to Eggman during the fight. And I need to remind people that Supreme being able to toss Sonic into the end does the same amount as damage as a fully powered up Cyber Sonic being shot into the moon. And Sonic even comes out at the end not falling back down to Earth unconscious in the original version like he does here. But with the end defeated, Sonic returns to Earth, falling and slamming into the ground like before, and his friends grab him. The scene cuts to Eggman and Sage, watching the ends remains fall while they embrace each other as father and daughter. Something you can see as early on as the first cutscene they were trying to do more of, build up the father-daughter relationship between the two, while still having Sage be a bad guy on Eggman's side, and not having her morally ambiguous come the end of the game like they were last time, when they ran out of places to put more relationship stuff and less exposition. The post-credit scene is the same as last time, but the after-credit scene doesn't exist. Instead, you gotta thank you for the devs. And this put a massive smile on my face. And heck, they even gave lyrics to the original song, making it a song about how Sage has now got a family and go home. Unlike last time where it was a song about how she had a good few hours then died. Overall, while I do think a fair amount of the base game story is fixed, issues like the Friends TM still vanishing into cyberspace makes no sense, and other things like the Friends TM are still in their intangible state, and I guess they aren't since they can actually fight the Guardians now, like Tower, something Knuckles couldn't do last time in Ares, so I guess the rules changed. Don't worry, it isn't canon anyway. I guess that's the biggest problem here, that while future games in IDW might not treat another story as being canon, calling it another story kinda says that it isn't canon, which, to be honest, I think is fair. The original ending works but was clearly rushed. This being an after-game expansion that not everybody is going to play, or can be as we'll get into later, making it a non-canon side story makes all the sense. Even if we murder that blue rat, please don't kill us, actually shows that Sage is still around, and while Eggman could have just reconstructed her, it is something to keep in mind as it could mean this is the canon ending. Now, what about the gameplay? Let's start with the alternate characters.
We'll go in the order they'll let you play as them. We'll start off by giving you the best of the bunch, Amy Rose. Now, hot take, but I don't care about her attacks being mostly tarot cards. While I did complain that's all they gave her, and being the heart of the team, if they're going to lean into her being the team mystic, they might as well go all out. And while I do think making her use her cards for a primary attack and limiting her hammer to just a quick side loop isn't that great, using the cards for things like her power boost, floating, and high jumps is not only pretty cool, it helps to contextualize what she's doing when she does them, since the only other time she's been able to do a triple jump was the meanie bad Sonic game that stuck to the Wii U.
Yeah, it might be a meanie bad poo-poo Wii U game, but I did say this was a good direction to take Amy if she ever came back. I do feel pretty damn validated right now.
She's basically a Sonic clone but can't climb, has a triple jump and no homing attack delay, showing they can do it but decided not to. She's also a little slippery. Like, the devs set her deceleration to max and didn't test her with the sliders all the way down like most people played the game with, once those came to be. But I gotta admit, I didn't expect Amy to have the greatest versatility in the game. And then there's Knuckles, and fun fact, the infinite jump glitch is back. This alone should tell you how little they actually tested Knuckles here. What happened here? His gliding is so off and it's very tanky, and while you can get used to it, it never feels that good. And while gliding, forget about turning because his turns are so wide. I have to wonder if they used Sonic Unleashed drifting as the basis for his code. His climbing also feels very off. The way it works is limited to these red pillars, and considering the game couldn't have been designed around these characters that they didn't know would be in the game, it makes sense. But his climbing is way too fast for the challenges they have him at. My best guess for what happened here is they took Sonic's climbing abilities, slapped it on Knuckles, and then sped it up to make him feel different to Sonic's, without any consideration what that might do to the climbing challenges they were making. And like I said, his infinite jump glitch is back. They're using his 3-hit combo, and then either flying or parrying. You can just keep going up infinitely. Did they test him? Did they give him the short end of the tree? Knuckles should have been the most fun one to play as in an open world. But while I wouldn't say he's terrible, he's pretty bad. And when his gliding has a wind up every animation every damn time you press the glide button, he's just not that fun. Finally is Miles. And honestly, I think he's in the middle. He's good but has some drawbacks. To start with, he doesn't have a homing attack, instead having long range weapons and hey, wait a minute. That's right, Tails is a weapon master in this game with a ton of long range weapons. And it's also why I think he has a lot of great platforming segments. While it's possible to break them when you do them normally, they're pretty fun and put both his hovering and range throwing in use with each other. That's another thing. It isn't him really flying, he goes up a set of mountain hovers for a while. That's pretty okay since like with Knuckles the game could not have been built around him. But it confuses me even more what happened to good old Dreads over there. Finally is Sonic. And while they didn't make any real changes to him, they even give you the spin dash if you don't have it lots by this point in the game, which is great because it means they can design around it. They actually changed one thing about Sonic. His parry now only lasts 15 seconds. I know saying only is weird, especially with the other 3 characters of parries that have a reasonable 2 seconds to be held down to be dealt with. Sonic's is still too high, but you know what? I still managed to cheese the 30-second long jump rope challenge, so I'll take what I can get. While the challenge is still a part of uncovering the map, they've also locked uncovering more of the map behind some of the map goggles, but usually a lot's behind challenges that only a specific character can do and interact with. So even if you manage to get to a map goggle with Amy, if it's a yellow one, she can't interact with it. And when you can only change with Master King Coco, there's an issue here, which I'm glad this is just one island and not all 5, because having to run back to one area to change constantly would be a pain. And for me, cleaning up this island in my own spare time, it's a pain. This brings me into how the world has been designed around them. If you looked too many rails and random platforms before, let me introduce you to black blocks. Honestly, I do love the aesthetic here, and it only works here, so do not try this again, Sonic Team. It helps to sell the idea of the physical and digital merging together, because the walls between dimensions have been ripped down, except they haven't, as you can still play through cyberspace. While I do think the platforming challenges here do bring a good bit of challenge in, when you're not infinitely punching up them and uses Tails' power boost to fly over them, look at this, it's so broken, I love it. When you don't do that, they are pretty good. But a lot of them do have issues with models clipping into each other because they just clearly didn't have time. The cyber levels here all have a unique gimmick to them, and they don't only play around with the funky control schemes, which, well, a good idea. I didn't end up playing that much around with them due to the key collectibles being found by Psyloop in the ground. Now I get why Chaos Island was so full of random things to Psyloop. They ran out of things to put under them. You can also get gears this way. Making fighting the Guardians damn near useless, which is okay, because these are some of the worst enemies we've ever had to fight. Not helped by the fact that the Friends TM skill trees have things like the stomp in them and the power boost, so they don't have that many good moves. Overall, the Guardians are overly difficult and overly tanky. So I don't have to stand for this. Even with Sonic, who still has all of his base game upgrades and who is maxed out for me. Although we can get into that for a bit. These boss fights are overly hard for no good reason, even on easy mode. So it's just not that fun. And now we get into what Sonic's been doing in the story. While the friends, TM, have been running around and looking for the next Chaos Emerald, Sonic is partaking in climbing up the 5 new towers of Ouranos. These towers are overly difficult and have some real issues to them. Like this one, where if you destroy the walls you have to commit a Sonic 06 and unalive yourself to get them back. So that's not great, but with some of them, they do give you some really fun ways of dealing with them. Heck, on easy mode, some of these towers have some fun design changes on them, like with the Reah got in Update 2, with balloons and such. However, it's a duct tape solution to a split in half kind of decision. But here's the thing, right? We were asking for a more difficult game, and the team kind of overcorrected in some areas, and that definitely goes for the master challenges. While some of them fight like fighting a single Kronos ninja who's just a little faster, but not a challenge due to, you know, the parry being busted still. It's pretty simple, but it's also like the last one. Meanwhile, one of the first ones you have to come across is the 4 enemies who are actually impossible to do without the Coco lowering the difficulty to add more time. But if you're talking about challenging Giganto, Wyvern, and Knight, all while level 1, 400 rings and no way to refuel them, and like a 10 frame long window for your parry if playing on hard mode. Oh heck, even extreme mode. Want to know why most of my footage doesn't have the stats on them? This challenge got me to replay the game in a non-extreme mode, because this challenge in particular is actually goddamn impossible, for me at least. Heck, halfway through I had to change to easy mode because the parry here was just too short to ever be affected. The perfect parry isn't the right solution. I think the window the friends TM have for their parries is perfect. Heck, on easy mode, I managed to finish the night off with only 30 rings left. It was brutal for no goddamn reason, which makes the final boss look like a joke. The first phase is just the Supreme fight again. The second phase is very scripted, and it, you know, the same issue I had with Wyvern. While it's better than Supreme has a more chaotic element to it, it's still overly scripted. You always have to silute the gun away. You will always be blasted with a mega energy ball to get 10 back to 100 rings. Heck, even on hard mode his health bar is just too low for this boss fight, because you will be maxed out for this, or damn near close to it. Then there's the fact you start the boss fight before going Cyber. Then you go Cyber and Supreme doesn't hold a single chance against you. And then there's the issue of getting the wire cut from Supreme. Until on this little trick of dodging to the side, then targeting the lock. The game gave me no indication on what the hell I was doing wrong. It's better than Supreme, but Knight still takes the cake as the best boss fight for me. It feels like the most complete boss fight, and while the end here does fight back like how Knight did, it doesn't feel like enough. The extra hands are mostly just for shooting off energy pellets for you to deflect with your perfect parry. Thank god that's back. While the Grand Slam is pretty good, the Knights is still better for me. Overall, though it was a good boss fight, it really struggles due to lack of telegraphing and being attached to Supreme, meaning they really can't do much with him, as I'm betting they wanted to do. Also Cybersonic, he doesn't do much. I think he's meant to be a boost, but they put Sonic to like kind of damage he was dealing with a base game Supreme. It's a good ending, still better than the base games, but it just doesn't sit right with me. I think I'm gonna build up this new power had, it being mostly a cutscene thing. Also a side note, I don't have cross slash, I have no idea how I managed to pull that off. But it was just gone from my skill tree, any idea what happened here? It mostly being a cutscene thing just doesn't really work for me. And I do like you talk to the other characters. You finally talk to Eggman and get an explanation of what the heck's going on here with Zap and all that. It's nice to be able to talk to them, even if it either comes to, I'm looking for that damn emerald, or exposition time baby. The last thing I guess I should mention is the music. Kellen Quinn's version of I'm Here slaps harder than I do with my Wiimote during a game of Sonic the Secret Rings. The cyberspace stuff is pretty good, but still on level the rest of the cyberspace stages, maybe a tad better. And the overall themes themselves are good, but a little repetitive, with them being about 2 minutes long loops. But then Sonic, who gets 2 remixes of Ouranos Island. Guess I should let you listen to my favourite themes, huh?
If you trust your colors, there could be another future waiting for you. Maybe if you take your chances. Anything could happen. Wisdom's your advantage. If you really want it, go and face the challenge. Find a new horizon. Find another passage. Now I'm not alone, a family of my own. I get to go home with you. Feelings deep inside come flowing from my eyes. I get to go home with you. All the lights up in the sky, all the times that I spent by your side taught me love and taught me pain, things that I could never have explained.
After the mess that was Sonic Forces, a shake-up was necessary. Forces proved they hit slump, and I'm glad they got to experiment. While it's not my favourite Sonic game, it's in the top 5 and that's great. It has an issue. Act 3 was clearly rushed, but the team has a solid idea of where to go and what to do next. Kishimoto, the director, said he was using these updates to try out new things for the future sequels, and I'm very much on board with that. We've seen him try out new things and implement them into the game, showing he and the team do know what they need to do next. But if you ask me, the balancing has to be better. I guess what I'm trying to say is that this laid the groundwork, and great groundwork at that. It just needs some polishing, and it's going from like Unleashed to Gens. They cut out some of the fat, tightened everything up, and improved upon what they needed to improve upon. And I do trust Sonic Team to do it, but I know there are many out there who just don't. They have built up so much goodwill with Frontiers, only to lose it when they made Supreme, and the end, and the rest of the island. Just too difficult. That Master Coco challenge has been a massive roadblock, and it's like the last thing before the boss fight. Now all we need is for the ports like Cole's Ultimate and Origins to do better, and we're great. Thank you all for watching. I know this is going to be a bitch for me to edit, but it's going to be worth it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye!